News 25 is brought to you by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrumps optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight, a large stable at Binion's Ranch burns to the ground, and 2 are injured in a car crash. News 25 starts now.
This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
A huge structure fire is under investigation. It's Monday, September 16th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Fire Chief Scott Lewis says early Saturday morning it appears that someone intentionally set a large horse stable on the property of Binion Ranch ablaze. Chief Lewis says that he was told that the video cameras that were reportedly on the property were allegedly stolen. Witnesses in the area reported that a vehicle leaving the scene when the fire began. The property is one of many that has been part of a criminal case happening right now in Clark County, alleging that the owner exploited an elderly couple by making her the heir of this property and an estate worth almost $14 million instead of their adopted son.
Early Saturday morning, we were dispatched a report of a structure fire. The initial report was possibly a shed on fire, but as we exited the stations and I left my residence, we could see significant flame lengths presenting in the area. As crews arrived, they found what was a well-advanced fire that involved what had formerly been used as horse stables. We had known those to be heavy timber. There was significant fire conditions showing. As crews entered the property, it was a complex of buildings which was formerly known as Binion's Ranch. As crews made their way in, they found the fact that there was a secondary structure well involved in fire as well, which in those 2 buildings were separated by approximately 100 plus feet of dirt roadway. Commenced a defensive exterior attack. One of the other initial reports is that there may have been people possibly trapped or unable to egress the property due to the advanced fire conditions. When we did our scene size up risk assessment, we found that that was unfounded, that they had a way to get off of the property safely, and they were sheltered in place. So we were able to focus strictly on getting large amounts of water. We laid large supply lines from nearby hydrants onto the property, used large hand lines, big fire, big hoses, big water, and our job was to contain the fire to the buildings that we had found on fire. So we did that successfully. There were no injuries. One firefighter was treated on scene for heat exhaustion. What ended up happening is that the construction methodology used when these buildings were built, with someone going back to the 1800s, made the suppression effort really challenging because we had to worry about the structural collapse, we had to worry about the heavy timber, we had to worry about the mating of multiple buildings over periods of time, and the advanced fire conditions that we were faced with. The combustible material was abound. There was the structures, the floors, the material that had accumulated, and the same thing with the second building too. Had a large water storage tank, which was not filled with water, but it did have a wood, almost like a covering over it, that added significant challenges to our suppression. There was immediate concerns of structural collapse on these older buildings. It is suspect in nature. In fact, we were clearly leaning toward the area of arson, and the State Fire Marshal is investigating with the Pahrump Valley Fire Rescue Team and the Nye County Sheriff's Office.
And there was no video footage of the property?
Not that we're aware of as part of the ongoing investigation. And there's no further information at this point.
And then as far as the total amount of structures that burnt, was it 2?
2 large structures, correct. And there was several additional large structures that were in immediate jeopardy, but they were protected.
Well, 2 people were killed and 1 left injured after an SUV overturned on a road south of Interstate 15 near Baker. California Highway Patrol says a 42-year-old driver from Antioch made a sudden turn, which resulted in a rollover near Killbaker Road on Thursday afternoon. The 1999 Ford Explorer veered off the roadway into the desert. The vehicle overturned multiple times before catching fire. The driver was ejected and pronounced dead at the scene. The 43-year-old passenger in the front seat was also ejected and suffered serious injuries. He was airlifted to Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas, where he later died. Neither man was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. A second unnamed passenger, a 54-year-old man from Pahrump, Nevada, suffered minor injuries. Alcohol and drugs were not suspected as contributing factors in this crash. Well, 2 females were transported by ground ambulance following a high-impact crash Sunday morning. Traffic was blocked on Sunday morning on Highway 160 at Postal Road for a 2-vehicle accident with injuries. The Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and auxiliary units were dispatched to the scene, along with Pahrump Valley Farm Rescue, who transported 2 females from a black sedan to Desert View Hospital. No one inside the gray pickup truck involved in this crash claimed any injuries at the time of the incident. Nevada Highway Patrol is conducting the accident investigation. More local news right after this break.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Pahrump Cardiology, located at 1397 South Loop Road in Pahrump, Nevada. Call 775-210-8333 for an appointment. Dr. Tali Eric, proudly serving Pahrump since 2005.
Welcome back. Well, the Nye County District Attorney's Office and the Nye County Sheriff's Office are announcing a resolution in the case of Thijs Granzer and Govert Sweet, the 2 Dutch citizens that were arrested last week for trespassing at the Nevada National Security Site. Earlier today in Beatty Justice Court, Mr. Sweep and Mr. Granzier pled guilty to trespassing, a misdemeanor, and illegal parking, also a misdemeanor. The gross misdemeanor charge of conspiracy to commit trespass will be on hold pending completion of the terms of a plea agreement. Both men were sentenced to 1 year in the county jail with all but 10 days suspended, on the conditions that they stay away from the National Security Site and that they not go within 500 yards of the site for the next year. If they comply with all the terms of the agreement, the gross misdemeanor conspiracy charge will be dismissed. Mr. Sweep and Mr. Granzier have been taken into custody and will serve their sentences, but will be released in 3 days on September 19th if their fines and fees of $2,280 for each defendant are paid by the morning of the 19th, in which case the other 7 days will be converted to suspended jail time. Additionally, the men have forfeited all electronic equipment in their possession at the time of their arrest. Well, NASCAR races its way into Vegas for the start of the playoff season. Michael Donahue has more.
Playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. It's that time of the year for NASCAR where teams try to survive the rounds and fight for a championship. Gates open Friday for all 3 divisions for a full day of practices, qualifying, and most important, that night's truck race. For the Gander Outdoor Truck Series, Friday night's race is an elimination race, and the bottom 2 playoff drivers would be eliminated at the race end. So having a good run and staying focused is key for the drivers on the cut line. It's truly do or die when the green flag flew, and unfortunately for a lot of engines, it was die. Engine and mechanical failures plagued many drivers throughout the night, including drivers such as Natalie Decker, Stuart Friesen, Tyler Dipple, and more, sending many drivers behind the wall through the race. But none had it worse than playoff drivers Grant Enfinger and Johnny Sauter. Enfinger blew his engine very early in the event, ending his night just after 6 laps, and his ThorSport teammate Johnny Sauter would soon follow with a massive failure 39 laps later. By some stroke of luck, Sauter was able to return to the track, but lost his motor soon after returning, ending his night for good. With Enfinger finishing 31st and Sauter finishing 29th, both drivers would fail to gather enough points and would be eliminated from a championship contention. On the other side of things, Ross Chastain and Austin Hill battled through a great majority of the race for the lead. Chastain would win stages 1 and 2 in dominant fashion. However, in the end, Austin Hill would catch and pass Chastain for the victory. Chastain would finish second, followed by Christian Eckes, Sheldon Creed, and Todd Gilliland, rounding out the top 5. With this win, Austin Hill would advance to the next round of the playoffs. On the Xfinity side of things, Saturday's race is the final race before their playoffs begin, so come Saturday night, the official playoff field would be set. Cole Custer led the field to start what would be a very clean race with only one major incident coming on lap 129 when the 93 of CJ McLaughlin hit the wall in turn 4. Christopher Bell won both stages 1 and 2, and much like the night before with Ross Chastain, Bell would fail to win the race. Choosing not to pit late, and using a fuel mileage strategy, Tyler Reddick was able to hold off a hard-charging Christopher Bell in the final laps to win his 5th race of the season and solidifying his spot in the playoffs. With the checkered flag falling on the regular season, the 12 drivers for the Xfinity Series playoff field were set, and each team would now prepare to fight to a championship title. Sunday Fun Day. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race is the final race of the weekend, but no less important. Vegas is the first race in the Cup Series playoffs, and a win automatically advances a driver to the next round. So performing well can be a huge lifeline later in the round. All 4 Stewart-Haas Racing Fords led the field to green, for much like the previous day's Xfinity race, would go fairly clean. While playoff drivers Eric Jones, William Byron, and Clint Boyer had their separate issues, the only major implications of the day involved both Busch brothers. Issues with lap traffic led to early trouble for points leader Kyle Busch, and he would end the race in 19th position after spending a majority of the race 1 or more laps down. His brother Kurt Busch was involved in the only accident of the night on lap 189 when he cut a tire down and hit the wall in turn 4, ending his night. Kurt would be the first and only DNF and would be credited with a last place finish. Joey Logano would win stage 1 but would not win stage 2 or the race. Martin Truex Jr. would instead take the stage 2 victory as well as the overall race win. Kevin Harvick would finish second, with Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, and Ryan Blaney finishing out the top 5. This win would be Truex's 5th of the season and would advance him to the next round of the playoffs. With another weekend of racing all wrapped up, I'm Michael Donahue reporting for News 25.
Thank you, Michael. So exciting. Well, Wynn Las Vegas says its 2 Strip properties will offer complimentary valet parking starting in 2 weeks. The new policy goes into effect at Wynn and Encore at midnight on Monday, September 30th. The change means that Wynn Las Vegas now offers full free parking for all guests. Paid parking remains in place at Caesar and MGM properties on the Las Vegas Strip. News 25 will return after this break.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Well, a classic car and truck show is happening this weekend on Bella Vista.
It's going to be September 21st and 22nd this year. Still located on Bella Vista at our commercial property. We're expecting a lot more people, a lot more cars coming up this year. We wanted to do an invite to Pahrump because that event is the Pahrump event, and we'd like to invite Pahrump population to attend. Visitors, it's free. You can come in and look at all the cars, and there's going to be carnival rides that are free as well. So we take care of that. Our live band has been very, very popular and loved last year, so this year they're coming again. Their names are Michael Monroe Goodman and his honky-tonk ninjas. They're awesome, so they're coming back this year for the live band. We're having a lot of vendors, different food vendors this year. We're trying a new formula where a lot more options. And we're also adding a poker chip run that will be on the Sunday, so September 22nd. But we're trying to have Pahrump people come over and visit and support the car owners and support the event because the profits will go to a veteran organization this year. We're taking pre-registration until the day before the show, and we still do the same day registration, and most of the people just show up the morning. They all wait for the weather to see what the weather will look like. We try to downsize a little bit this year for the judging, where we are expecting more cars, so we want the judge to be able to also enjoy the car show. So we're basically looking into the overall condition of the vehicle. Yeah. If there's anything, if somebody went the extra mile to build it and stuff like that. Yeah. Marcel wanted to add a class or a reward where somebody built it himself. We're having also a live auction during the weekend. We have a lot of sponsors that are supporting our event. Like this year, we're like around 120 different sponsors. Wow. It's going to be located on Bella Vista, 3591 West Bella Vista, September 21st and 22nd. Car owners can show up starting at 6 in the morning, And visitors, the gates are opening at 9 in the morning up till 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and again the same thing on Sunday. Go online, Top Notch Repairs. There's links for the car show, the prior years as well, and then there's links for this year. You can register online, you can call, you can email any questions, and then if you want to participate, if anybody has suggestions for activities or anything that can help our valley, we're very inviting everybody to do that, and we're open for comments and suggestions so we can all grow together.
All right, let's go to Maria with your entertainment report.
Singer R. Kelly was a no-show for an initial court appearance in a Minnesota case in which he is accused of offering a 17-year-old girl $200 to take off her clothes and dance in 2001. Kelly, who is jailed in Chicago on sexual abuse and other counts, was charged in Minnesota in August with soliciting the girl after meeting her before a concert in Minneapolis. Kelly faces previously filed federal and state charges in New York and Chicago. Officials say that federal authorities in Illinois were not willing to give us access to him until his case there is resolved. The judge then issued a bench warrant as a formality. Kelly's attorney responded to inquiries stating that he never got notice of the hearing. The summons was sent to Kelly's last known address. NBC's Saturday Night Live has just added comedians Chloe Fineman, Shane Gillis, and Bowen Yang as featured players for the upcoming 45th season. Yang joined the sketch show's writing staff last season and appeared as North Korean leader Kim Jong-un when Killing Eve star Sandra Oh hosted in March. Fineman is known for her work with improv company The Groundlings, a noted SNL training ground. Gillis, like Fineman, has been a new face at Montreal's Just for Laughs festival. He also can be frequently heard on Comedy Central Radio's The Bonfire. The casting news comes a few weeks after it was reported that Emmy-nominated SNL favorite Leslie Jones was leaving the show. The show, called David Lee Roth Rocks Vegas, starts in January and lasts for 9 shows happening through March. Tickets go on sale this Saturday, September 14th, and start at $60 each. Roth was the singer for some of Van Halen's biggest hits, including Jump, Unchained, and Panama. Reporting for News 25, I'm Maria Guerra, and this is your Entertainment This Week.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, let's take a look outside. It's kind of cloudy out there, getting a little dark a little bit earlier. We're going to find out more with your weather forecast right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Okay, in our surrounding areas, Las Vegas high today, 97, low of 69, Death Valley 104, 71, Amargosa 92 is your high, 58 is your low, Beatty 88, 53, Goldfield 77, 40, Tonopah 75, 38, getting down there, Carson City 68, 35, Fallon 76, 37, and Fernley high of 72, low of 39. Mostly cloudy today with windy conditions, currently 89 degrees, your high of 90. Winds at the south-southwest at 23 miles per hour, humidity at 11%, and sunrise 6:27 this morning. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 61, winds out of the south-southeast at 17 miles per hour, humidity 23%, and sunset 6:50 tonight. Your 7-day forecast shows sunny skies all the way across the board. A couple clouds on Sunday with highs of 85, coming down on Thursday to 82, Friday 84, and back up over the weekend to your high 80s and low 90s through Monday. Your overnight lows in the low 60s and then getting down there to your mid to high 50s throughout the week. Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I do want to let everybody know that we do have Fall Festival coming up soon. So if you want to enter the parade, get in touch with Pahrump Valley Chamber of Commerce because they still have openings. Of course, if you want to sponsor the parade, you can sponsor the parade by giving us a call here at KPVM-TV, 727-9400, to put in your parade sponsorship. Of course, we will be having entertainment up there on the stage, Davis Amusements, the rodeo, arts and crafts, and so much more at the Pahrump Fall Festival, which is September 26th through the 29th at Petrick Park. We want to see you guys all down there. And we're going to be having the Taco Fest October 12th at the Calvada Eye. For more information, go to the Pahrump Taco Fest Facebook page or give me a call, 775-727-9400, extension 201. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Good night.